Hello and welcome back to another OMNIHEROES video. In this video we're just going to have a discussion with regards to the tournament mode. So tournament, you need 6 teams or potentially more, potentially 10 teams in total if you have upgraded and given yourself additional teams for Clash through the Hope Tree. You can potentially run 10 teams in total. Now I am not running 10 teams. That is too much faff for me and I've already invested all of my points in World Arena. So I only have 6 teams to work with. So let's see how good we can make these 6 teams. I think personally, for me, I'm not going to be mixing and matching. I'm just going to be doing the basics for each different synergy. As you can see, there are 6 faction synergies or 6 Valkyrie synergies available, and we have 6 teams to build. So each team will have a will be one of these 6 Valkyrie factions. So first things first, we will go with Mystifiers. Who do I think are the strongest Mystifiers? Firstly, Gaia. Gaia is the strongest Mystifier. No two ways about it. Gaia by herself can effectively carry you through much of the early game. I have done a lot of the early game, getting into mid to late game, where you start picking up multiple copies of all of these units, and Gaia is the strongest by far. And then in the early game, specifically, Lancelot is very powerful alongside Gaia. The reason for that is because of the corrode that Gaia applies, that Lancelot applies on the basic attacks within round 1. You typically will kill 1 or 2 enemies. Very strong effect. However, I'm not running Lancelot in my team build here. And the reason for that is because I'm running another non-DD, which is Emily. The reason that I run Emily in this particular team is because of her rune passive. So if I jump into her runes here, increases corrode damage of all allies by 65%. At the start of battle, Emily applies 5 stacks of corrode to each enemy. That is very similar to the actual Mystifier's passive. So if you have 5 Mystifiers, which is what we're going for in this particular team, at the start of battle, applies 5 stacks of corrode on all enemies. Each 1 stack deals damage equal to 12% of the allied team's average attack every round. All allies restore 25% of their own max HP every round. So what we're looking for is those 5 stacks of corrode to be applied by our Mystifier's team, and then 5 stacks of corrode applied by Emily. Something else to note, the corrode stack limit by default is 5, so you can only apply 5 stacks of corrode to a unit at any given time. That is the biggest weakness of the Mystifiers by far. If that corrode stack limit did not exist, the Mystifiers would be the strongest by far. However, when Emily is deployed, the limit of corrode stacks is increased by 5. This is her 6-star passive, and so you can use her from 6 stars to increase that passive effect. Now, I will run Emily down here, and Gaia I will run in one of these spots here. The reason that I will run Gaia in one of these spots here is on action you gain energy. Now, what happens is you will gain that energy. Gaia will then proceed to do her secondary attack. So here, if we have a look at her, not talent, but her runes, each time Gaia takes an action, she has a 75% chance to take an additional action. This effect triggers up to 1 time per round, which means that she's going to generate more and more energy for us. It's just the way of things. Now, what you need to take into consideration is, are you attacking or are you defending? So what I mean by that is there are 2 different team builds that you can go for when building a Mystifier's team. There is an attacking team and there is a defensive team. The defensive team is all Monarchs all the time. So you've got Astrid, Dullahan and Talos. This is a staple. You would probably take out Emily at this point because your corrodes are not super relevant. So you would take out Emily and you would use a unit like Mulan, like Tsukiyomi, like Catherine, for example. There we go. So you would use Catherine, you would use Mulan, you would use Tsukiyomi if you do have a copy of her, or you can use one of these units, Victoria. Victoria works very well as she builds up defense. and she will provide that 4th Monarch synergy as well if you are going all defensive. Now, if you are going all offensive, then this is the team build that you want. And the reason for that is primarily because of Tsukiyomi here. So Tsukiyomi, whenever you apply a stack of corrode, and at the start of the round, depending on how many corrode stacks have been applied, Tsukiyomi will then steal that much attack. I think 1 million per corrode stack. So if you've got 20 stacks of corrode on your enemies, which you should do, or at least 10 stacks of corrode on your enemies, which you should do, then Tsukiyomi will steal 10 million per round for the rest of the game, as long as you are applying those 10 stacks of corrode each enemy. So it's just something to keep in mind. You can nerf a lot of what the enemy is doing just by having Tsukiyomi on the field straight up when you're attacking, that is. So for me, I'm going to be attacking all of these units. Defensive wise, again, you want to go with all Monarchs, but with Strikers being the primary attacking synergy, you want to go with those if you can. Now, I did go for my Artifact. I've gone for my 300 and technically 50% attack increase for my Dooms, for my Mystifiers and Relics. I would say that the best Relic for the job for Mystifiers is your Underworld Key, followed by Plague Bow, followed by Night's Edge. These are the 3 best relics that you can go for Mystifiers. Plague Bow does a lot of work, does a lot of damage here. Every debuff on the target, damage is increased by 10% up to 100%. That includes Corrode, by the way. In this round, for each successful taunt, you don't really need that unless you're running Dullahan. So Dullahan will increase his max HP by 100%. After firing an arrow, Plague Bow applies 5 stacks, or 2 stacks, I believe, of Holy Shield on 2 allies with the lowest HP, if your Plague Bow is much lower star. And then the first use consumes 50 less energy. When enemies have 15 or more stacks of debuff, including Corrode, the relic has a 100% chance to be cast again, so you'll very often be seeing this Plague Bow go nuts, effectively. Now you've got Night's Edge, just increases leech rate and increases the attack of all of our allies as well, which is very important, considering that we'll be stealing a lot of attack and increasing our attack with Gaia as well. So that's the Mystifiers team. Now let's move on to Valianters. Valianters, I think, are the weakest so far of all of the synergies. I think even Avengers trumps Valianters, but you can get some quick wins in with Valianters as long as you are building correctly. So we're going to go you, and we will go with Macaria. We will go with Vittoria. And we'll go with Hades as well. I'm not including Atrops on this team because typically Atrops does put a lot of work in, and she does heal as well, so you can switch her out with Vittoria. However, my Vittoria does now have her exclusive runes. Vittoria's exclusive runes are very similar to Karnak's in that when an ally team total number of kills is higher than 2, she gains a 100% damage boost. Okay, so you need half red runes. Right, okay, so half red runes apply the bind effect, so very, very strong. If you do have the spare half red runes, she's very good for pumping up your Valiant's strength overall. However, we do get a damage boost for her, as long as our kills are higher than 2. So I'm going to pop Macaria in this front row. In fact, no, I'm not. I'm going to leave Macaria behind Elma over here. We've got Vittoria, Pandora, and Hades. Hades is here to steal enemy units, and Pandora is here to do as many ultimates as possible, and to allow the rest of our team to do as many ultimates as possible. We are going to go with the Valiant artifact, increasing attack of Valianters by 300%, and the best, again, would be Underworld Key, Night's Edge, and Plague Bow. However, we don't have the option to use the same relic multiple times, so we are going to go with Death Scythe. We will go with the Mirror, and we will go with, where have you gone? The blades here. So the Mirror is very important in this particular build because it allows one of your units to come back when the rest of your units are or have died. I think it's up to 2. So effective 1 time per battle, grants 1 revival chance to 3 random surviving allies. So you get 3 of your units back if they do all go down. So very, very strong effect. And then the blades here increase damage, relic damage. And as well, you also apply the execution mechanic as well for the blades. So very, very strong. But again, I would say it's probably the weakest of all of the synergies, to be honest. Now we can move on to Ethereals. I would say probably one of the, if not the strongest set of units that we do currently have, and the reason for that is because they do everything that you need them to. Eudora here will do the damage that you need her to. You've got Karnak, who will provide the healing, and you have... Oh, hold on. Sorry about that, I just had to sort something out. But yeah, as I was saying, Karnak to provide healing, Wukong to do follow-ups and finishes to Eudora's big attacks. Typically, Eudora will potentially finish off one enemy. However, she'll leave the rest of them at reasonably low health, and Wukong will follow up directly with his passive and do some basic attacks against them. The more basic attacks that Wukong does, the more damage that he will output, up to 10 stacks of effectively doing double, then triple, then quadruple damage on his basic attacks to enemies. So very, very powerful ability, especially if you can get those crits in. Now, we do have Elisha. Elisha speaks for herself. She is, I would say, probably the strongest PvE unit in the game, besides potentially Dahlia, but Dahlia needs somebody to copy with, whereas Elisha just needs you to get some crits, which you should be doing naturally on the Ethereals team anyway, increasing that crit chance as much as possible. You also have the latest addition as well, Amaterasu, probably better than Elwyn, as you can see at the moment. My Elwyn, currently I've got half red runes for her, so very, very strong. But I would say the shielding actually is a bit more important, and the reason for that is because I was mistaken in my initial reviews of Amaterasu. With Amaterasu, the way that she works, I would say Katrina is a good unit to base your opinions off. Amaterasu 4, Katrina is very, very strong, but it's because whenever, say for example, Karnak were to get a critical hit, the entire team would get shield, whereas it's kind of the reverse with Amaterasu. So if Amaterasu gets a crit, the entire team gets shield. However, I've read it incorrectly, or at least not read it incorrectly, but it is worded incorrectly. Her passive actually means when a unit crits, they will get the shield back. So when Eudora does 5 crits in a row with her ultimate attack on round 1, she will get 50% of that damage back as shielding, and that goes up to 100% when Amaterasu is at 9 stars. So your team does get even stronger. The additional shielding helps very, very much for survivability, especially if you're doing a lot of crit damage, and she does allow for a lot of crit damage. She doubles the amount of crit damage done by our team, and so we double the amount of shields that we get back effectively as long as we are critting. Now, I would say the strongest relics would be Ocean's Maw, not because of the effect that it does at the start of round. It applies Moonlight to all enemies. Moonlight, when an enemy takes more than 15 hits, regardless of source, Moonlight detonates. This is redundant. You're not going to take 15 hits, except if you're using Wukong. But again, meh. The next one, or the next relic that I'm going to use is Gourd. So Gourd is very, very strong, especially with your stackers. And I'll tell you, this is this bit right here, down at the bottom, that final passive. After casting the relic for 2 rounds, all buffs received by our allies are doubled. That includes Holy Shields, that includes Shields, that includes Crit up, that includes Attack up, that includes HP up. You see where I'm going with this? The more, if you're willing to sacrifice your lineup, then or the positions that your lineup are in, then you can go for gold on that one. Now, you do also have the Demon Bane Whip. Demon Bane Whip does a lot of things, but primarily increase the HP of all allies by 75% for 2 rounds and resets cooldown. This happens quite a lot. Or it happens more than it should. So I think this is on per relic trigger that we get our 75% HP increase, and I think it happens whenever we do trigger our relics, which is a very, very powerful ability, which is why I run it alongside my Elisha, because she also increases HP, and then we get to increase our team's HP by 75% on top of that, so very, very strong. Again, that's the team broken down. That is our Ethereals team. Now we can move on to Glorians. Now, Glorians are very strong, relatively. I would say that they are probably, in fact, no, they're not. I think they're 5 of 6. So I would say that Glorians currently are just not strong enough to hold a candle to the top tier teams like Dooms, like Ethereals, like Mystifiers. They just can't hold a candle to them. And the reason for that is because of a lack of stackers. The same is true for Valianters, and same is kind of true of Avengers, but Avengers are the best defending team in the game. So there is that. But attacking wise, you want all of your... You actually, to be fair, you want as many Monarchs on the team as possible with a couple of Strikers thrown in. So we will go for something along the lines of this. Should be absolutely fine. And what we will do, pop Wu in the middle over here. We do want Chang to do as much damage as possible, so that's why we're putting her in this slot 5. You've got Audrey, Lily and Leah as your 2 Monarchs up front, and then you've got your Seraphina for your healing, and Chang here for your overall attack. Wu Zetian will provide 75% damage reduction so long as you've got her runes. If not, you've got 75% chance of getting 75% damage reduction, which can be effectively 0% damage reduction. Now, Schrodinger is another option for this team. I do like Lily and Leah on this team. They increase the attack stacks. They also do a lot of work with regards to the actual protection of the team as well. Schrodinger does something a bit different. Schrodinger, I think, is more for combos and PvE gameplay. I don't think she's designed for PvP gameplay. The reason for that is because she can effectively replace Elmer if you are running a Glorian's team. So Elmer can run, you run Elmer typically in this front slot, in slot 1, and he will keep the team alive with the Undying Shield combo. Now, Schrodinger does basically the same thing, but in Ethereals. And so what I will do actually, we'll run Lily and Leah just for the additional protection, and then we will go with... I would say Flame Banner is probably best bet, or Spear. So Spear is very, very powerful, so we go Flame Banner, and then we can go with our Shield, which will provide shielding for our team, and then we can go with the Cauldron as well. So the Cauldron stops us from taking any damage, which does allow for greater survivability. We'll go with increase the attack of Glorians by 300%. Now we are moving on to Avengers. Avengers are the strongest, I would say, standalone PvP team without all the fancy stuff like having Arthur, Dahlia, Elisha, Eudora, Gaia on the same team. The Avengers are the strongest of all of these synergies, and the reason for that is one unit, and it is right here. There she is. Aphrodite is the strongest PvP unit in the game, hands down. There is no other unit that does compare to how quickly Aphrodite can take down your entire team. I've seen by the end of round 1, one unit left standing. Now she does need somebody to pair with, and that typically would be Janna. The reason for that is because Janna will produce this Stranger. In this extra spot here, the Stranger will typically die quite quickly, as long as you're not pumped up your Strangers using various different parts of the tree. This EX position, you can pump up the Stranger's effect and effectively run a single Janna team. But the problem being that sometimes Janna can get in the way. However, what we're going to do is we're going to pop Aphrodite down here in this bottom right hand corner because we want her to do as much damage as possible. We are going to pop in Cleo as well on this team. Now, if you don't have Cleo, you would pop in Nerissa. Unfortunately, my Nerissa is only 10 stars, so I can't vouch for how good she is outside of that 10-star mark. But typically, I've found that having... we'll go with Mavis instead, actually. You can, if you don't have Cleo, then you'd pop in Hey Kate in this this top position up here, and also you have other units to run alongside, like Mavis and Althea. Althea is key for any Avengers team that you want to run. You need to run Althea. And again, the reason for that is because Althea provides that at 7 stars, that instant revival. Now, I have also got an Arcdina. Arcdina does something very interesting. If the team's total number of revives is higher than 4, then Arcdina will revive permanently. She will consistently revive, but that revive is not affected by Althea's passive, which unfortunately makes it much weaker, which is why I don't run her over somebody like Mavis, for example. So we are going to choose our chest. Chest is probably the best Avengers relic known to man, because you are always going to be running a Shadow Arc, you're always going to be running a Deviant, and you're always going to be running a Celestial as well. I'm going to go for Sphere. Sphere will increase the health of your team quite drastically, and also provide additional healing, and we're going to go with Hand of Tyr as well. You can also run the new relic, the Umbra Torch. My Umbra Torch, unfortunately, only increases HP, so I'm going to go with a 8-star Hand of Tyr instead as my relic, just so that we can we've got more stars, we've got more power behind us, and the additional shielding and attack increase will help drastically as well. And then finally, the Dooms team. Now, you can run Dooms in a number of different ways. I personally have been running Dooms like this for quite some time. The reason that I've been running Dooms like this is primarily because of Arthur, Dahlia switching between the two, so powering up this front two, and then you've got 3 Monarchs on the back row to keep Arthur and Dahlia alive for as long as possible. You don't really care about the effects of Halissa, you don't really care about the effects of Merlin, because those buffs will be dispelled as soon as you take out an enemy. So effectively you lose all of Halissa's buffs, you lose all of Merlin's buffs, but you don't lose the buffs that Dahlia puts on Arthur, and Arthur provides for himself. Leviathan is a new staple in the format. I would say that Leviathan is really, really strong, and the reason that I think Leviathan is really, really strong, because she reflects attack back. Now, I could also use another unit like potentially Ayushta to get our Deviant synergy going on, and also potentially Ophelia. Something like this might work out very well for you, but typically I've found that having that Monarch synergy on the team just helps survivability to no end. So we will pop in, where have you got to? Halissa. You can run Merlin. I am in fact going to run Cleo in this spot. And the reason that I'm going to run Cleo is because of the 3 Celestial triggers. Now, in case you don't know or are not aware, if you get Arthur up to 10 stars, he does unlock his Oath Force. So the stat increase effect of the Celestial synergy is raised by 60%. This is really, really strong. So what does that mean? Means that here, if we have 3 Celestials, the start of battle increases crit rate by 15% and attack by 75% for the ally team. So just means that this is going to go up and up and up when Arthur is deployed by 60%. No small feat, and every 50 instances of Arthur's King's Crown trigger the purification and dispel effect of the Celestial synergy. So this is the King's Crown effect right here. When Arthur's deployed, he grants a 25% chance to reflect any and all debuffs received back to the caster. He also then procs all of the rest of it. But what this Oath Force means is every 50 instances of this happening, so every 50 instances of your team reflecting debuffs back, will proc the Celestial synergy. This is only effective in PvP, which is why we're able to run Arthur and why I think he is a menace in PvP, especially if you are running good, strong Celestial team. Now, we do have our Lance here. This is probably one of the strongest relics in the game currently. The reason for that is it applies feeble and also feeble targets. We have a 50% chance to take double damage. What that means, it doesn't mean that they're going to take double the amount of damage that they would normally receive. It means that we're going to attack twice. So Arthur will do his basic attack, and then feeble will kick in, and he will do another 50%. So a very, very strong, powerful ability. Now, this is actually the strongest relic in the game. The reason for that is because of the passives and level 2 and level 3. I've only got it at 1 star at the moment, but the level 2 passive, I believe, allows you to apply burn to all enemies, and also the level 3 passive will apply last word effect to all of your enemies, so when they die they deal 100% attack. Now we have gone for stun hammer instead, again because of the higher stat line, and also we've gone for our famine scales here for the healing. As you can see, there is no healing on this team whatsoever, not even a deviant leech rate to go off, unfortunately, but again, should be more than good enough, especially with the switching of Arthur and Dahlia and Cleo to provide Holy Shield protection. Now, that is it for those teams. Let's go ahead and save those teams and let's start this challenge and let's see how far we can get with the teams that we've built. Again, I'm not expecting a lot from these teams because I am up against some very, very strong competition in the room that I'm in. In the last video that we did go ahead and get to number 1 against very, very strong competition, but again, that was the first round. Typically I will get to number 1 the first round, but then people will devise strategies and fight against me on those ones. So currently we're up to rank 67 and we've had our 3 wins. We're looking to get to, each team gets to 10 wins. That is what we're looking to get. That is the goal. We don't care about the 18 win streak. We don't care about the 15 win streak. Now, something to take into consideration. Rebirth, you want to avoid that as much as possible. Even if you've got teams which have fallen, typically you want to avoid that unless, for example, your best team was sniped by an enemy Aphrodite who was left on like 1 HP or whatever. You want to avoid that one as much as possible. We typically will go for this bottom one as much as possible, no matter what it is. We will go for it. All surviving heroes restore 50% HP. This is typically after round 6, round 9, and round 13. We want to restore all remaining heroes by 50%. What that means, it doesn't mean that, say for example, if Emily went down on this first team, that Emily wouldn't get that 50% HP restore. She would. So any of your downed units on your existing teams will get restored back up to 50%. So even if you are down to 1 unit on a team, the rest of the team will still get that 50% HP back, which is why the healing is so important. So, for example, Arthur here looks like he has gone down, unfortunately. Looks like he was sniped, or at least he was close to. And Valiant is, again, Valiant is just no good. No good this season, for me anyway. I personally think that Valiant is a garbage. We nearly got him. It was just the Elmer, unfortunately. So, like I said, we want to... I do kind of want to rebirth, and we do want to increase dodge rate, but what I will do is I am going to go and revive. And the reason I'm going to revive is because I've got 2 teams down here. I don't care about Valianters. Valianters this season just suck, unfortunately. They just lose to a small breeze. The other teams, absolutely fine. We're doing absolutely no problem, especially those with healers on. And then Mavis here, holding the fort down, I think. Mavis and Janna, very, very strong together. Oof. Yeah, like I said, Avengers, strongest... Look, Avengers are the strongest team in the game currently, as you can see. Just so strong. Taking our Avengers down, absolutely no problem. Again, really, really strong teams. But we should be okay. So we are down to 2 now. We are looking to get to 10 as much as possible. And it seems to have kind of worked out not very well for us. So we are going to revive a fallen team. And let's go ahead and revive our Mystifiers. We'll get our Mystifiers back. Hopefully they can carry us through for the next 8 rounds and see another 8 victories. Eudora does go down. Should be absolutely fine though. We do get up to 10. We're looking to get to that 12 wins. Or at least 12 rounds. So we can go ahead and heal our team up. And it looks like our our Glorians did beat an Avengers team, but again, Avengers are just so strong. It's not the Avengers that are strong. Do not get me wrong. It's not the Avengers that are strong. It is just Aphrodite. She is so so toxic. So here you go. All surviving heroes restore 50% of HP. As you can see, Eudora's gone down. We have got just Audrey by herself, holding her ground. Very, very strong effect. So go select bonus, and we will restore 50% HP to all of our allies. That brings back our Eudora, who went down. With 50% HP, not bad. And then it does revive 50% HP for our team here as well. So up to Godlike with Glorians, and up to Godlike with our Ethereals as well. Very, very strong. And again, we've got our Monarch Dooms going relatively well as well. I could do with a couple more wins. We will get another choice, another selection after this round, I believe, round 15. Yep, we kind of want to increase attack, but what we are going to do, choose a fallen team to revive. We will revive our Avengers. Again, they are very, very strong, but we needed to prioritize healing our team before we can proceed. So we're up to 16 wins. I have had it up to in previous goes where we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot of wins. Like I have got 5 out of 6 up to Godlike wins. But again, it just depends on how many Avengers you face. That's it. That is really all it is. We'll go Cure. We'll revive our team up to that the full HP, and then just hopefully, yeah. See, that was most definitely worth it. Like I said, Avengers currently the strongest attacking team in the game. Currently the strongest defending team in the game with Aphrodite on it. No two ways about it. If you are defending, you want Aphrodite. And it looks like we've got first place. So we'll take that within the server. Again, very, very strong opposition. Banda, All for Bullets, very, very strong teams. And it looks like we've got number 1 as well. So that is absolutely fantastic. Only up to 84 wins this time round. I did get it up to like 102 in the last one. So felt relatively confident. But again, we're very, very close to claiming our final piece here of the magic record. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I hope it's been informative and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you have a great day and good luck.